In the dim glow of the airport terminal, where the hum of distant announcements echoed like forgotten promises, Elena clutched her daughter's tiny hand, her heart pounding as she sprinted toward the gate. The digital clock overhead mocked her with its relentless tick, each second slipping away like sand through her fingers. Boarding closed, the attendant said flatly, her words slicing through Elena's desperation like a knife. She had missed the flight, the one that was supposed to carry her to a new beginning, a job interview in a city far away that promised stability for her and little Lily. Tears welled up as she collapsed into a cold metal seat, the weight of exhaustion and failure pressing down on her shoulders, threatening to crush the fragile hope she had clung to for so long. If you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts, share this video with someone who needs a reminder that good things can happen, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks for more stories that warm the heart and inspire the soul. Elena's life had been a relentless storm ever since her husband walked out 2 years ago, leaving her with a mountain of bills and a 5-year-old daughter who looked at her with eyes full of innocent trust. She worked as a waitress by day and cleaned offices by night, her body aching from the endless hours, her mind frayed from the constant worry about rent, food, and Lily's asthma medications that cost more than she could afford. The job interview in Chicago was her lifeline, a position as an administrative assistant at a non-profit that helped single parents, paying enough to let her breathe, maybe even save for Lily's future. She had scraped together the money for the tickets by skipping meals and selling her grandmother's old necklace, the last remnant of happier times. But that morning, Lily had woken up wheezing, her small chest heaving in panic, and the trip to the emergency room had eaten away the precious buffer time. Traffic snarled like a cruel joke, and now here she was, stranded in the sterile expanse of the airport, the world blurring through her tears as passengers hurried past, oblivious to her crumbling world. As Elena sat there, her hands trembling while she rocked Lily gently in her lap, the child's sleepy head resting against her chest, she felt the sharp edge of despair cutting deeper. What now? The next flight was tomorrow, but rebooking would cost hundreds she didn't have, and missing the interview meant another door slamming shut. She stared at the floor, scuffed and littered with discarded wrappers, willing herself not to break completely in front of her daughter. Lily stirred, whispering something about being hungry, and Elena's stomach twisted with guilt. She had packed only a few crackers, saving every penny for the trip. In a moment of restless fidgeting, Elena shifted in her seat, her foot brushing against something unusual beneath it. Curious despite her numbness, she bent down, her fingers grazing a small envelope taped securely to the underside of the chair. It was plain white, slightly dusty, as if it had been waiting there for just the right person to find it. Her pulse quickened inexplicably. In a place as impersonal as an airport, this felt like an intrusion from another world, a secret hidden in plain sight. Peeling the tape away carefully, Elena held the envelope in her hands, turning it over to see neat handwriting on the front, "To the weary traveler who needs this most." Her breath caught. What kind of prank was this? Or perhaps a lost item? But something in the elegant script tugged at her, a quiet insistence that made her slit it open with her thumbnail. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded crisply, and as she unfolded it, the words leaped out at her like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. "Dear stranger," it began, "if you're reading this, life has likely thrown you a curveball today. Maybe you missed a flight, or perhaps something heavier weighs on your heart. I know that feeling all too well." The letter was signed at the bottom by Alexander Thorne, CEO of Horizon Airlines, the very company whose plane she had just missed. Elena's mind reeled. Was this real? A CEO leaving notes under seats? It seemed absurd, yet the paper felt substantial, the ink fresh, and there was a subtle embossed logo at the top that matched the airline's branding. As she read on, the words wove into her soul, painting a picture of vulnerability that mirrored her own. Alexander wrote of his early days, how he had been a single father after losing his wife to illness, juggling board meetings with midnight feedings, nearly losing everything when grief clouded his judgment. "I taped this letter here as part of a quiet experiment," he explained, to remind myself and others that kindness can bridge the gaps life tears open. Enclosed is a voucher for a free round-trip ticket anywhere we fly, no questions asked. But more than that, if your story resonates, reach out to the number below. Sometimes, a missed flight is the universe's way of rerouting us to where we're truly meant to be. Elena's eyes blurred with fresh tears, not of sorrow this time, but of a fragile hope flickering back to life. The voucher was there, tucked behind the letter, crisp and official, worth more than she could have imagined. But it was the personal invitation that stirred something deeper, a sense that she wasn't invisible, that her struggles mattered to someone who had walked a similar path. The airport around her seemed to fade as Elena absorbed the letter's message, her mind racing with possibilities. She glanced at Lily, who was now dozing peacefully, her little face relaxed in sleep, and a wave of determination washed over her. This wasn't just a ticket. It was a second chance, a whisper from fate that she deserved more than the hand she'd been dealt. But doubt crept in. What if it was a hoax? What if calling the number led to embarrassment or worse? She sat there for what felt like hours, the terminal emptying as night fell, the fluorescent lights casting long shadows that danced like ghosts of her past mistakes. Passengers came and went, their laughter and chatter a stark contrast to her internal turmoil. Finally, with shaking hands, she pulled out her phone, the battery hovering at a precarious 10%, and dialed the number scribbled at the bottom. It rang once, twice, and then a warm voice answered, Alexander Thorne speaking. How can I help you tonight? Though the conversation unfolded in her mind like a dream, it was achingly real. Alexander listened as Elena poured out her story, her voice cracking with emotion as she described the abandonment, the endless shifts, Lily's health scares that kept her up at night. He didn't interrupt, didn't offer platitudes. Instead, he shared fragments of his own journey, how a random act of kindness from a stranger had pulled him from the brink years ago. By the end of the call, he wasn't just a CEO, he was a kindred spirit, offering not pity but partnership. Come to our headquarters tomorrow, he said. We'll sort the flight, and perhaps there's a role here for someone with your resilience. Elena hung up, her heart swelling with a mix of disbelief and gratitude, the envelope clutched like a talisman. She spent the night in the terminal, curled around Lily on a row of seats, but sleep came easier now, laced with dreams of brighter tomorrows. The next morning dawned with a soft airport haze, the sun filtering through massive windows as Elena made her way to the airline's local office, guided by Alexander's instructions. The staff greeted her with knowing smiles, as if they were in on the secret, and soon she was on a shuttle to the corporate building, Lily bouncing excitedly beside her, sensing her mother's shifted energy. Alexander met them in the lobby, a tall man with kind eyes etched by life's trials, his suit impeccable yet his demeanor approachable. He knelt to Lily's level, offering her a toy plane from his pocket, and as the child giggled, Elena felt layers of isolation peel away. Over coffee in a sunlit conference room, they talked, not as executive and supplicant, but as survivors. He revealed that the letter was one of many he had hidden in airports across the country, a personal mission born from his own dark days, hoping to spark ripples of change. For Elena, it wasn't just about the job he offered on the spot, a position in community outreach, drawing on her experiences to help others, but about the validation that her pain had purpose. As weeks turned into months, Elena's life transformed in ways she could scarcely believe. The new job provided not only a steady income but health benefits that covered Lily's treatments, allowing the little girl to run and play without the shadow of illness looming so large. Elena moved into a cozy apartment, decorated with Lily's drawings and photos of their adventures, the constant fear of eviction a fading memory. She even reconnected with old friends, her confidence blooming like flowers after a long winter. But the true magic lay in the bond with Alexander. Their friendship deepened, built on shared vulnerabilities, and he became a mentor, guiding her through the corporate world while she reminded him of the human stories behind the numbers. Occasionally, they would hide letters together in airport seats, paying forward the kindness that had rerouted her path. Elena often reflected on that fateful day, how missing the flight had felt like the end, only to become the beginning of something profound. Yet, challenges lingered, as they do in any real story. There were days when old insecurities resurfaced, when Lily asked about her father and Elena had to summon strength to answer honestly. Work brought its own pressures, tight deadlines, difficult clients, but now she had a support system, colleagues who became like family, and Alexander's quiet encouragement to lean on. The suspense of her early doubts gave way to a steady rhythm of growth, each small victory building on the last, until the emotional weight she carried lightened, allowing her to soar. Lily thrived, her laughter filling their home, and Elena found herself smiling at strangers in airports, wondering if they too might discover a hidden note that changes everything. In the quiet moments, Elena would pull out that original letter, now framed on her wall, its words a testament to the unexpected turns life takes. She had gone from a single mom on the edge of breaking to a woman empowered, her story inspiring others in the outreach programs she led. The airport seat, once a symbol of defeat, became a beacon of hope, reminding her that sometimes, the universe takes a message just for you, waiting to be found. If this story has touched your heart, stirred emotions you didn't expect, or reminded you of the beauty in human connection, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to us at Kindness Speaks and helps spread these tales of inspiration further. Before we end, drop a comment below with the line, "Kindness found me when I needed it most," if you've ever experienced a moment like Elena's, and share your own story to inspire others.